Next on News 3 at 11, big concerns tonight about a Georgia police officer's comments, the troubling remarks he made during a traffic stop that his boss is calling inexcusable. Plus, tackling a growing problem, the effort to battle opioid abuse in the Low Country, and the solutions presented tonight.
And coming up in the Complete Storm Team 3 forecast, still tonight we are tracking more rain showers. And the chance of storms over the next 2 days is going up even more. All you need to know is coming up in just a moment.
WSAV News 3 at 11 starts now.
Now, the smart choice for news, weather, and sports for Georgia's coastal empire and the South Carolina Low Country. This is WSAV News 3 on your side at 11.
Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Ben Singer. Tina has the evening off. Newly released video has a Georgia police lieutenant under fire for controversial comments. The dashcam video shows Lieutenant Greg Abbott speaking with a driver whom he just pulled over for suspicious driving under the influence. This happened in Cobb County near Atlanta. You can hear Lieutenant Abbott tell the driver to grab her phone, which was sitting in her lap, but she refuses, referencing previous deadly police shootings. Lieutenant Abbott then says, quote, "Are you black? Remember, we only kill black people," end quote. Authorities say Lieutenant Abbott says his comments were an attempt to de-escalate a situation involving an uncooperative passenger.
There's really no place for these types of comments in law enforcement. Surely not in this department, law enforcement in general. This badge and this uniform should mean that there's justice and fairness for all. And that is certainly what we strive to do here in Cobb County for all our citizens. No matter what ethnicity, no matter what gender.
Police say Lieutenant Abbott is cooperating with the investigation. He is a 28-year veteran of the force. Satire or defamation? Black Lives Matter Savannah being questioned for a controversial Facebook post. At first glance, it appears to be a book cover. It turns out no book exists, but the post has sparked outrage, especially from Chatham County Sheriff John Wiltshire. News 3's Meredith Stutz explains.
If you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, then what about a book that doesn't technically exist? Black Lives Matter Savannah posted this picture to its Facebook page last week. It's a mock-up book cover titled 101 Ways How to Kill a Black Person in Chatham Jail, written by current Chatham County Sheriff John Wiltshire. It includes images of the sheriff, Matthew Ajibade, a Savannah man who died in custody in Chatham County, a makeshift noose, and a member of the KKK, a potential stark contrast to the reputation BLM Savannah has worked to create over the past year, one its leaders say is about peace and advocacy for minorities.
Violence is violence, and that type of act enables violence. We can't use the tools of the enemy and then for our causes and pretend that the ends justifies the means.
While the post and the page have been taken down, on Thursday, Sheriff Wiltshire calls the post distasteful.
I didn't say it, I didn't do it, I didn't post the pictures.
BLM Savannah founder Jomo Johnson declined an on-camera interview, but told News 3 the post was satire, and while admitting it's offensive, he is adamant it doesn't compare to what he says are the multiple black men that have been raped, abused, and killed in Chatham County's jail, accusations that offend Sheriff Wiltshire.
I don't treat any of them any different. I treat them the way they should be, like human beings.
Johnson's comments come just days before BLM votes on whether to start a 6-week protest.
That's all right as people who are free in America. But when you go to extent like that to try to do some defamation of somebody's character, my attorneys is looking into it right now to sue them.
Johnson told News 3 if the protest goes forward, he plans to bring 100 men to the jail for a news conference. Wiltshire says while he is fine with a peaceful protest, there will be consequences if the group is violent or there illegally.
They come out here and do that, then I'm putting them in jail. I'll tell you right up front.
In Savannah, Meredith Stutz, WSAV News 3.
While there is no book right now, Johnson tells Meredith there will be one, and it will deal with what he says is the suffering in the local jail. It is due out September 8th. New information tonight, an allegedly abusive priest is on his way back to the Low Country. Waylon Brown waived extradition and will be brought from Maryland to South Carolina to stand trial. Brown was indicted on 9 charges of criminal sexual conduct with a child last week. Investigators say the former St. James Catholic School priest took 2 boys in the 70s and 80s to Jasper County and molested them. The Chatham County District Attorney's Office has set up a hotline for any other victims. The number to call is 912-652-8080. 5 people are behind bars in connection with one of 2 murders in Garden City last weekend, but so far no one has been officially charged with the killing. Ender Lopez and Pablo Rangel Rubio are at the Chatham County Jail tonight on immigration-related charges. 3 others arrested on the same charges. Garden City police say they all are co-workers and believed to be connected to the killing of Elliot Montoya. Montoya was shot and killed on August 21st. A dozen or more guns were found at the suspect's Effingham County home. And police still searching for a suspect in the first of last Saturday's murders. A man shot to death inside a parked car at the Chatham City Apartments. Garden City investigators say they have had several leads in Rasheen Jasper's killing. No one has been charged. If you can help solve this crime, call Garden City Police or make an anonymous call to Crime Stoppers at 234-2020. Now take a good look at this video. It is of a burglary in progress. The man broke into the Shell station on Dean Forest Road about 2 this morning and stayed in the store for almost an hour. The alarm went off, but the man was able to escape with the cash drawer. If you know who he is, call Garden City Police or Crime Stoppers right away. Your tips have led to 218 arrests, and tonight you may have information to put a violent convicted felon back behind bars. Andrew Davis opens this week's Fugitive Files.
He choked her and then displayed a gun to her and then started hitting her with the gun, and this was all in front of a child.
That's what Eric Bowens is accused of doing to his ex-girlfriend back in July. Now the convicted felon is charged with aggravated assault and on the run again.
If he's capable of doing something like this to somebody that he obviously still loves, it's unknown what he could possibly do to somebody who he doesn't know.
Eric Bowens is 5'4", 145 pounds, and has 2 tattoos on his chest. Bowens hangs out at the bus station on East Gwinnett Street and has lived on Harmon Creek Drive and on Joe Street. Detectives consider him armed and dangerous. You can help find Eric Bowens. Make an anonymous call to Crime Stoppers right away at 234-2020. And remember, if your tip leads to an arrest, you could be eligible for a cash reward. And if Bowens is watching,
it's better to take the necessary steps now to make it right than to have to live constantly looking over your shoulder.
For Fugitive Files, I'm Andrew Davis.
You may also have information to help put other suspects behind bars. So go to WSAV.com and click Fugitive Files under the News tab. One military family sleeping on an air mattress tonight after a moving company refuses to return their belongings. News 3's Danny Dykes is joining us now with this On Your Side report. Danny?
Ben, this woman says she and her husband have moved around plenty of times before with no major problems. Now she believes this moving company is scamming her family, and they're not the only ones. Whitney Carrion just moved to Savannah with her 2-year-old daughter from Kentucky. Her husband's deployed overseas and plans on joining his family in November. The couple hired a moving company based on a recommendation from a friend, but the company is withholding Carrion's furniture and personal belongings until she pays them an additional $2,000 above the price they quoted her. Carrion found reviews online from other military families who say the same thing happened to them. Carrion says she's happy to pay the company the original money owed. She just wants her memories back.
I want to pay for a good, honest move. I want our things intact. And I just hope that no families give this company any of their business without treading lightly. The memories and the personal items are what we're obviously most concerned about. Watching them drive away with all of those items and not knowing what they're even going to do with it, that's worrisome.
We reached out to the moving company, but they've yet to return our calls. We'll continue to follow this story and bring you more information as it comes in. I'm Danny Dykes, WSAV News 3.
Danny, thank you. In our Low Country report, Beaufort County is just one of many across the U.S. hit by the opioid epidemic. As part of National Opioid Awareness Day, county officials brought the community together tonight to educate and to remember. News 3's Low Country reporter Stassi Olmos was there.
I actually had plane tickets to go to rehab. I decided to take one last shot of my drug of choice, and I woke up for the 5th time surrounded by paramedics. My mom had to do CPR on me, and that was her 3rd time doing CPR on me.
Austin Henderson's now 15 months sober, but others weren't so lucky.
I lost my son, Jonathan Abla, on August 3rd. Since that time, I've been very involved with rehab facilities, with recovery facilities, and I came to know of Austin, and I'm so proud of him. I couldn't be prouder of him if he was my own son.
Abla's son is just one of the 20 that have died from drug overdoses in Beaufort County in 2017. That number 3 times the total in 2016.
It's paramount to staying clean today is having a big support group.
As part of National Opioid Awareness, Beaufort officials want to make that support group county-wide.
The more knowledge that people have that this is out in the community, everyone can be a spokesperson.
As many as 1 in 4 people prescribed opioids long-term are struggling with addiction, like Wendy's daughter.
I didn't realize how much she had taken. She was not responsive. I shook her, just wasn't responsive, and she was literally cold and gray. I don't know how the medical community should be managing it better, but it's not being done well.
Earlier this month, President Trump declared the epidemic a national emergency.
It's a national emergency. We're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money on the opioid crisis.
But until then, the Beaufort community takes a moment to remember the lives lost to this epidemic and a vow to stand together to stop it. Stassi Olmos, WSAV News 3.
If you or anyone you know is looking for help with an addiction to opioids, you can call the Beaufort County Alcohol and Drug Abuse Department. That number is on our website. Just go to WSAV.com and search opioid. A recommendation to keep going at Plant Vogtle. Georgia Power telling the Public Service Commission today that it wants to keep building 2 new nuclear reactors there. There's been concern about how to move forward since March when Westinghouse, the main contractor, went bankrupt. Critics say other nuclear projects have been abandoned because they're too expensive to finish, and this one should be too. The chair of the Public Service Commission, Stan Wise, says the decision will be up to commissioners.
There'll be a great deal of information that we'll run through in the next 5 or 6 months to come to a decision, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm pleased that we'll have an opportunity to review whether it's appropriate to continue the project. You know, the cost-effective debate is going to be a tough one, and it might not match up, but the fact of the matter is that billions of dollars have been spent.
The new completion forecast puts the project at least 5 years behind schedule. The Southern Alliance for Clean Energy says it's disappointed by the decision, saying ratepayers will keep paying the price. The Savannah City Council voting today to allow the Coastal Empire Fair to use the fairgrounds to hold this year's fair from October 21st through November 20th. The Coastal Empire Fair will pay a $25,000 license fee, and this short-term lease will only be active for 31 days. Next on News 3 at 11, we are coming to the end of our Clear the Shelters campaign. We're finding out how local shelters are making it even easier for you to make a furry addition to your family.
And coming up in the Complete Storm Team 3 forecast, there's an even higher chance of storms over the next couple of days. We're tracking that and the latest on Hurricane Irma coming up after the break. You're watching WSAV News 3 on your side at 11.